Hi everyone. Today I want to share with you a love story that's as timeless as it is heartwarming. This is the tale of Rupesh and Sita, two souls who found each other against all odds. In the lively village of Gopalpur, the annual inter-village cricket tournament was in full swing. It was a bright summer morning when Rupesh, a talented cricketer, arrived with his team, his heart filled with dreams of making a name for himself. Meanwhile, Sita, a soft-spoken yet determined young woman, had come to stay at her uncle's house for the summer. She loved everything about the village, the peaceful fields, the chirping birds, the way life flowed at its own rhythm. Little did she know this visit would change her life forever. As she walked through the crowd, her eyes fell on Rupesh, standing confidently on the cricket field. The moment she saw him, her heart skipped a beat. There was something about him, the way he smiled, his determination, that pulled her in like a magnet. For the first time in her life, Sita believed in love at first sight. Sita watched from a distance as Rupesh played. Every shot he hit, every run he took made her heart race. She wanted to meet him, to speak to him, but how? She was a simple girl and he was a rising star. After the match, Rupesh walked past the village square where Sita sat. He noticed her deep brown eyes, the way she nervously tucked her hair behind her ear. He felt an unfamiliar pull toward her, but before he could smile, she quickly turned away, her cheeks turning red. That night, as Sita lay on her cot under the open sky, she whispered to herself, "Why do I feel this way? I don't even know him." But love does not always need a reason. The next morning, fate intervened. Sita's uncle, an influential man in the village, had invited all the players to his house for a feast. Rupesh and his friends arrived, their laughter filling the courtyard. Sita's heart pounded as she served food. And then Rupesh turned to her and said, "This is the best meal I've had in a long time." "Thank you." His voice was deep and warm. Sita smiled shyly, barely able to respond. After the meal, Rupesh noticed her sitting under a neem tree. Gathering his courage, he walked over and asked, "You love cricket?" Surprised, she looked up and said, I don't know much about it, but I enjoyed watching your match." He grinned and said, "Then I'll teach you." And just like that, their first conversation turned into an unspoken promise of something more. Over the next few days, Sita and Rupesh found excuses to see each other. She would watch his practice matches and he would teach her the rules of cricket. They shared stories, laughter, and stolen glances. One evening, as they walked by the riverbank, Rupesh suddenly stopped and said, "Sita, why do I feel like I've known you forever?" She smiled and replied, "Maybe because I've been waiting for you forever." Their fingers brushed, sending shivers through both of them. That night, under the full moon, they realized this was love. But love stories are never without obstacles. Sita's uncle noticed her growing closeness with Rupesh and was not pleased. He had already chosen a groom for her, a wealthy businessman from a nearby town. "You are not a child, Sita," her uncle said sternly. "You will marry where we decide." Tears welled up in her eyes. "But I love him." Her uncle snapped, "Love won't fill your stomach. Rupesh is a cricketer. What future does he have?" Hearing this, Rupesh felt powerless. He had no wealth, no status, just his dreams. But he vowed to fight for their love. The next day, Rupesh was forced to leave the village as the tournament ended. Sita watched from her window, her heart breaking as he walked away. Months passed. Letters were exchanged in secret. Rupesh trained harder than ever, determined to make something of himself. Then came the biggest twist of fate. Rupesh was selected for a state-level cricket team. His name appeared in newspapers, his face on TV screens. He had done it. One evening, as Sita sat by her window, she heard excited whispers in the village. "Rupesh is coming back." Her heart pounded. Could it be true? The day Rupesh returned, the entire village gathered at the cricket ground. Dressed in a crisp white shirt, his face radiant with success, he searched the crowd for one face, Sita's. And there she was, standing near the old neem tree, tears glistening in her eyes. Without a second thought, Rupesh ran to her. "I told you I'd come back for you!" Sita sobbed, unable to speak. He took her hands in his. "Will you be mine forever?" Before she could answer, her uncle stepped forward, his eyes filled with regret. He had seen how the world respected Rupesh now, how he had turned his dreams into reality. "You have my blessing," he finally said. Cheers erupted. The village celebrated as Rupesh and Sita embraced, knowing that love had won. Rupesh and Sita's love story became a legend in Gopalpur. They built a life together, one of love, understanding, and endless support. Sita stood by Rupesh's side as he rose to greater heights in his cricket career, and Rupesh cherished her like a priceless treasure. And every summer they visited the village where it all began, the place where love found them and never let go. Isn't that just beautiful? Love truly does conquer all. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Until next time, keep believing in love.